Khan, all praises to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Malak Yahweh Shai. We back with another Shabbat, another Sabbath service through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema Yahweh Shai. Right? So the name of the Lord will be exalted in these last days. Right? So again, we going into the 4 types of leprosy. Right? Because we got to go into the scriptures, man. We got to know the law. Right? Give me the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1, King. Right? We got to go into the law. We got to get the understanding. As the scriptures say, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. That's in the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Right?
This is the book of the commandments of God.
Hey, this is the book of the commandments of Yahweh. Right? The Bible, not the Quran, not the book of the dead, not the book of Mott, but rather the scriptures. This is the book of the law. Read on.
And the law that endureth forever.
And the law, statutes, and commandments, they endure forever. As it states in Psalms chapter 119, verse 44. Bring that out for me, King. Psalms 119, 144. Right, so again, we going into the 4 types of leprosy. It's the book states, Salaki, you can't stay in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter all day. Right, you in the book of Proverbs and the book of Psalms. Now you got to get into the law. You got to dissect these scriptures, and you got to make love to wisdom and righteousness. Right, bring it out, King.
144, right? God. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 144. The righteousness of thy testimony is everlasting.
Is what?
It's everlasting.
Hey, the righteousness of the Lord's testimony are everlasting. And what's righteousness according to the Bible? The commandments. Right, bring that out in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. Right?
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, and verse 25. It shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God.
Before the Lord our power. Read on.
As he hath commanded us.
As he hath commanded the children of Israel. Read on.
That's it on that.
God. So it shall be our righteousness if we observe to keep the commandments. So keeping the commandments makes us righteous. You got it, brother.
I got a precept. Get Deuteronomy 11 and verse 1. Right, like the brother going into, man, we got to dive into the law because, hey, that's the milk of the scriptures. Right? Bring it out.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 1.
Right.
Therefore thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always.
Right. You see that? So you got to keep the statutes and judgments always, man. That's how you properly love the Heavenly Father. Right. If you're not keeping the commandments, then you don't love the Lord, man. Right. So you got to keep all these commandments. Right. Give me that in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17, and it reads, Think not that I come to destroy the law.
What Yahweh shall say?
Think not that I come to destroy the law.
Right, so Yahweh shall say, I did not come to destroy the law. Right, read.
Or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right, to fulfill, meaning to bring into reality, bring realization. Right, so he fulfilled the things written of him to further bring the law to life. Right, read.
Verse 18, For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass.
Right, we still see heaven and earth, read.
One jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law,
right,
till all be fulfilled.
You see that? So one jot or one tittle. And what's the law? Hey, what Moses was given. Give me that in Leviticus 26 and verse 46. Right, Moses was given the law. So we're finna dive into the law and see what Yahweh Shah said is not go past until all be fulfilled. Right, bring that out.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 46. These are the statutes and the judgments and laws which the Lord hath made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses.
You see that? By the hand of Moses. So Moses, you know, he wrote down these commandments for the Israelites to follow today. Right, brothers.
Give me the book of Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 17. Just to land me back off with the brother bringing out. Right, because Moses, he was a priest. He was a Levite. We read Exodus chapter 9 and verse 1. Right? So he was set up to teach the law, statutes, and commandments to the nation of Israel. Bring that out for me, King.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 17. He gave unto him his commandments.
His what?
His commandments.
Right, so the Lord gave unto Moses the law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
And authority in the statute of judgments, that he should teach Jacob the testimonies.
He shall do what?
That he should teach Jacob the testimonies.
He shall teach Jacob the testimonies. Read on.
And inform Israel in his laws.
And inform Israel in his laws. And it's not just 10 commandments like the Christianity church would like to tell you. No, it's over 600 commandments that we have to strive to keep to the best of our ability, for our knowledge and for our upliftment as a nation of people. Now give me Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 10. Right? There's more to it than not eating swine's flesh. Right? There's more to it than growing a beard on your face. There's more to it than wearing fringes. Right? It's over 600 commandments. That's broad. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 10. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments.
Right? Again, the Levites, the priests, they were set up to teach the Israelites the judgments. Read on.
And Israel thy law.
In what?
And Israel thy law.
In Israel thy law. Now give me Haggai chapter 2 and verse 11.
This the book of Haggai chapter 2 and verse 11.
Right?
Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
Thus saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Read on.
Ask now the priest concerning the law.
If you want to know about the law, you have to ask the priests, right? Because these are the men that study in the law, right? Like you got Esau, the so-called white man. He got his different lawyers, right? You know, within this court system. Hey, they study the law, man, right? They be going to school for a period of 10 years plus, right? Studying that law, right? Learning about the laws of the land, right? Learning about the history of the so-called white man, right? So they got to get deep and they got to get intricate within the law, right? So they can be able to properly defend people in a court of law. Right, so us likewise being the priests of the Lord, we got to get deep in the law so we can be able to properly judge matters. Bring it out, King.
Want to get me read on that?
Yeah.
Verse 12. It's like you're saying. Verse 12. If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread or pottage or wine or oil or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, No. Then said Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, it shall be unclean.
It shall be what?
It shall be unclean.
Right, so the priests, they knew the law, man. Right? Give me Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 19. Right? The priest knew about the laws of uncleanness. Right? The priest knew about the laws of separation. Right?
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 19.
Right?
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood.
Now this is a woman on her flowers, right? Menstrual. Okay, read on.
She shall be she shall be put apart 7 days.
She shall be what?
She shall be put apart 7 days.
She shall be put apart 7 days, not 3 days, not 4 days. Right? These damn apps be lying to our woman, man. Right? No, it's a period of 7 days, which represents completion. Right? You got to make sure all of that, flour is out of you, man. Keep reading, King.
And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean.
Shall be what?
Shall be unclean.
Right? And if you touch this woman, you're unclean. Right? You can't deal with a put-apart woman. Read on.
Until the evening. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whatsoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Right, so you got to know these laws, man. Right, you just can't know, I can't eat pork, I can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. Brother, you got to know about the laws of uncleanness. Right, because you can be in sin, man. You can't lie with a woman that's on her flowers. Right, that's fornication, man. Give me Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 17. Right, that's why you need the priest to inform you in these different laws, statutes, and commandments. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 17, and it reads, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land.
Right, so when we was in the land of Israel, waxing fat, read on.
They defiled it by their own way.
You see that? We defiled the land by our own ways. Right, we wanted to eat pork. We wanted to worship different gods. We wanted to sacrifice onto different ancient Canaanite deities. Read on.
And by their doings, their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman.
What's a removed woman? Right? That's a woman that's on her flowers. Right? Because she has to be separated. You can't dwell among your wife if she's on her flowers. Read on.
Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land.
Right? So read that again.
Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land.
About the part where he say our ways was as a removed woman.
It's like it. Their ways was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman.
Right, so we was unclean, man. Right, our ways before the Lord was unclean. Right, eating pork, right, eating crab, eating shrimp, hating our brother, worshiping different gods. That was unclean in the sight of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And it was just as a removed woman. Okay, read on.
And it reads, verse 18, wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land.
Right, and that's why we went into slavery. Now, give me one more. Give me Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7.
It's the book of Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7. And it reads, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they shall seek the law at his mouth.
Plain upon tables, the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they shall seek the law at his mouth. All right, so you can't call yourself a priest if you don't know the law, man. Are you going to get confounded? There's always going to be wicked judgments going out, perverseness, right? The land is going to be defiled and full of wickedness and abominations if you don't know the law. You got it, bro.
That's right. I'm going to bring this out. This is the prologue to Sirach. All right. And it reads, my grandfather Joshua, when he was, it's like we had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and he had gotten therein good judgment. Right? Once you start reading the law, statutes, commandments, it was written of our forefathers, you get a good judgment on how to deal with situations and things. A lot of brothers now, they don't know how to deal with that. You know, in the world, they see the woman, they see a woman on their flower, and they say, oh, there's a little blood. So what? You know, they say, I'm a vampire. You know, they start saying vile stuff, man. They start saying wicked things. That's why you got to read the scriptures, right? So you can get that good judgment. You understand? So you know how to properly deal with situations. For an example, leprosy. Right? A lot of brothers don't know how to deal with that. Some brothers, which we'll touch on later in the video, they get leprosy in their face, which the world may call vitiligo, right? And they think, oh, I gotta go on this meat diet. That'll fix it. They do everything but pray to the Lord, right? They have no judgment because they're not reading the scriptures. They're not reading thus saith the Lord at the end of the day, right? Jake may have certain mold on their clothes and say, so what? I just wipe it off. No, brother, you can't do that, right? So it's different ways to go about handling situations, right? And the only way you can figure out how to handle it is by reading the scriptures. I'm going to read this as well. Or I'm going to read it again, Salakia. My grandfather Joshua, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and the other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. So the things that you read in Sirach, he got all this wisdom from reading the law. You understand? So Sirach is really like an extension of the law. Because all these, you can precept pretty much, or really everything that's in Sirach back to the law in one way, shape, form, and fashion.
Right, give me the book of Nehemiah 8 and 1. Right, going into the law, man. Right, like the brother said, the Levites, you know, the priests, they taught the law, but we're a kingdom of priests, man. Right, so when we out there on highways and byways, what are we teaching people? To wake up as the Israelites and to repent and keep the commandments. And we leave them with laws, man. Right, we're not out there prophesying, giving them a Daniel, the 8th chapter. Right, we out there teaching them the law, man. Hey, keep the Sabbath day. Ain't no shrimp, crab, and lobster. Wear your fringes. Right, we spoon feed them with basic laws so they can build their faith up, study for themselves, and start keeping all the law. And they did that in Acts 15. Right, they said, hey, don't worry about, you kind of offending the babe saying you got to circumcise yourself. Just kind of give them these few things and let them build up to that.
Might as well bring that out.
Right, but bring that out.
It's the book of Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 1.
Right.
And all the people gathered themselves together as one man unto the street.
Right, as one man into the streets. Right, like they say the Holy Spirit, Yahweh and Yahweh is one. Hey, that's what it's saying, man. Hey, we one, right? Meaning we on one accord. Right, read on.
That was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses.
Right, so they said, hey, bring the book of the law of Moses. They wasn't gathering together to go to a Jay-Z versus Lil Wayne damn verses, man. They wasn't gathering together to see some folly, man, to go to Travis Scott demonic concert. Hey, it was gathering together and say, where's the scribe at? We want the law. Right, read.
Which the Lord have commanded to Israel. Verse 2.
Right.
And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation.
Right.
Both of the man and woman.
Right, men and women, read.
And all that could hear with understanding.
Right. So he gave, look, everybody that could hear with understanding, they was gathered together to get this law. Right, read.
Upon the first day of the 7th month.
Right, read.
And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday.
Right, from the morning to midday, he's going into the law, breaking it down, right? And it's going to tell you, right?
Before the man and the woman, and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law.
Right, so your ears have to be attentive to this book of the law. And we finna go into the book of the law, man. So you have to be attentive and pay close attention to what we finna bring out.
I got a precept. Give me Psalms chapter 62 and verse 4. And brother, Tazadok, you mind looking up leprosy? Let's see what Esau tell you what leprosy is. Let's see what the devil of the earth, right? Let's see if he's truthful. Go to images, brother.
You can type in, go to Google. Yeah, go to Google. Look at that. Yeah, I don't know why.
Let's see what the Satan of the earth tell you what leprosy is. Let's see if he's truthful. Is this leprosy? Right? Go to that. Go to them hands, man. What is this, man? Go to the go to that man right there. What is this? Right? So we're gonna break it down precept upon precept, line upon line, and get the correct understanding of what leprosy is. Right? Because Esau don't want to tell you the truth. Right? Give me the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. That's not leprosy, that's damn mutilation, man.
He's mean.
Yeah, he's mean.
That's a mean hammer.
Give me Job chapter 13, verse 4.
It's the book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies.
What the scripture say?
But ye are forgers of lies.
And the Lord said the so-called white man is a forger of a lie. Right? He cannot tell the truth to save his damn life, man. Right? He always got to lie to the multitude of the people to cover up who he really is according to the Bible. Right? Because Esau is a leper. And we're going to read about that. But give me Psalm 4. Right? Esau lacks melanin and pigmentation. He's deprived. He has a skin disease. He's lacking on the earth. That's why he's known as 666. He's that imperfect vessel, as it states in Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 4. They only consort to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in the lies.
They do what?
They delight in the lies.
Right? Esau loved telling lies on the earth, man. He can't get enough of it. Right? Every day he meditate on how to tell another lie, how to deceive the masses of the people, and how to keep the Israelites asleep. Read on.
They delight in their lies. They bless with their mouth.
They do what?
They bless with their mouth.
You. God loves everybody. We one people. Kumbaya. Right? They bless with their mouth. Read on.
But they curse inwardly.
What?
They curse inwardly.
But they curse inwardly within their spirit. They hate the so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans. They purpose to overthrow our goings, as it states in the scriptures. Now give me Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 30. Right? So don't believe the so-called white man medical institution, right? His doctors, his quote-unquote physicians, physicians, because they lying to the people, chiefly to you Israelites. Right? They want to give you the jab. They want to give you these different pills. Why do they call it a treatment opposed to a cure? Right? Hey, you treating something, that's not curing it. That's just stringing it along. Right? Keep reading, brother.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 30. And it reads, he shut up his eyes to devise the forward things.
It say he shut up his eyes to devise forward things. Right? And when you shut your eyes, you kind of in deep thought. You in deep meditation. Right? So the so-called white man, he shuts his eyes to devise forward things. He kind of shut his eye. How can I overthrow these Israelites? Right? Okay, crack. Okay, liquor in the community. Okay, and he set up all these different things, man, to overthrow the Israelites. Right? Guns in the community. Right? Read on.
Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass.
Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass with his different laws and legislations and his quote-unquote speeches. Now give me Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Precept on that.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Right, the word decree means a law. Right, so the so-called white man, he decree unrighteous laws on the earth. Right, even with this whole jab, right? And they kind of forcing it on the masses of the people. They kind of making it mandatory in certain places of the earth. Right, so he's decreeing unrighteous decrees. And that's not helping out brothers. Right, that's actually killing our people, man. Right, they say people are dying from the complications. Right, people kind of taking it and they dropping dead. And they catching seizures and they turning blue in the face. And all hell breaking loose because the so-called white man is a damn devil of the earth. Right, and he's lying to you within these medical institutions. Read on.
And that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
Which they have what?
Which they have prescribed.
Which they have prescribed, meaning they different medicines that they so-called prescribe. But it's grievous unto the Israelites. So again, when you look up leprosy, Esau, he's not going to tell you the true definition of leprosy. He's not going to tell you what it truly is because he knows that he has it on the earth.
Get Leviticus 13th chapter. Get the first verse.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 1.
Con.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest, and the priest shall look on the plague and the skin of the flesh.
We ain't done. You got it.
And when the hair and the plague is turned white, the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh.
Salakia. Khan. So they didn't go to any physician. They went to the priest because the Lord gave them that certain duty to what? To pronounce something clean or unclean, right? Notice how this man didn't go to the Levites. It's like he didn't go to the Asherites. He didn't go to the Judites. He went to the Levites. That's their specific duty to pronounce somebody clean or unclean, right? The Levites, it was doing more than just being in the temple all day. Right? You had Levites doing certain duties, right? This is one of the duties. Other duties we'll read on later on in the 14th chapter, Lord willing, where they had to kind of inspect houses. Now, today, you call that a house inspector. You understand? You got to pay top money to get a house inspector, right? The brother know about it.
Hey, Salaki, real quick. Hey, they kind of taking the office of a physician right now, man.
Yep.
Right? Hey, these men ain't go to the damn hospital, right? They didn't go to Med Star, right? They didn't go to the damn ER. No, they went to the priest.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord.
Salaki, I believe it's Sirach 30 and 1.
34.
Con, bring that out.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse, so like it's 38.
Con.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician.
So the Lord said, honor the physician, right? So in this instance, the priests and the Levites, they're taking the office of a physician, right? They kind of diagnosing people. Okay, do you have this kind of leprosy or do you have this kind of leprosy? Or is it that kind of leprosy or is that kind of leprosy, right? So they kind of giving you the diagnosis. Read on.
They say, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him. For the Lord hath created him.
What the scripture say?
For the Lord hath created
right,
him.
so the Lord created the physicians, and likewise the Lord created the Levites and the priests to take on this office. And this is a grave responsibility that they have within the priesthood. Right? It's more to it than like the brother said. Right? There's more to it than putting the shoe bread out every Shabbat. Right? You actually had duties that these men conducted, man.
Yeah. Stop thinking they was eating cake all day. Can you Google a Dr. Forrest King? Yeah, just Google doctor and Google images. All right. This is not what the Levites look like. They didn't have the stethoscope. Neither did they have a big white coat, nasty white coat. That's not what the Levites wore, man. All right. And it's definitely not. And this is not but father. Look at that Jake.
What's the What's those tools called where they hear your heart?
Stethoscope.
They didn't have that. Man.
Let me see your heart and kind of see if you got leprosy or not.
And they didn't
No.
look into your ear with a light.
Yeah, that old light that's been in everybody's ear.
Yeah.
Damn ear canal.
They didn't knock on your damn knee, right? To
Yeah.
check for your reflexes.
Kind of touch you down there when you young. That's what doctors do. Yeah, cough at me. One more time.
They kind of grab in your back.
No,
tell
they
you
kind
to
of
breathe.
they rope you and kind of say cough. Y'all never heard that?
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they say cough 1,000 times. Bring in 2 other male doctors. Let me see. And they old and nasty and white. They look like him. They look just like him. Let me figure out something. And then he got prostate exams. And we could go on all day. The physicians of this place is of no value. You can't trust them. You can't take heed to what they say. Neither do they give sound counsel. But you know who does give sound counsel? The Levites. Because it was their duty. The Lord gave them spiritual understanding, right? To understand what's clean and unclean. To discern certain matters. All right, and that's what we're reading about in Leviticus 13th chapter. You mind reading chapter 2, verse 2 one more time?
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse number 2. And it reads, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest.
That's right. And they'll announce it unclean. All right? Go ahead.
And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
That means they have to have some type of instrument to kind of pluck out the hair, examine it. Okay, is it really yellow? They're being physicians on the right-hand side. They're not just taking a glance, look you up and down, say you're unclean and walk away. Or, just kind of, you're not unclean, give me some money. They weren't moving in that fashion. All right? They was really righteous. All right? You can go ahead.
I got a precept on that.
Kind.
All right, give me the book of what I want. I don't know if I want to jump. All right, give me Exodus 4 and 6.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 4 and verse 6.
Right, an example of leprosy. Right, because leprosy is white as snow. Right, plain upon tables. It's not green. Right, it's not rainbow color. No, it's white as snow. Give me Exodus chapter 4 verse 6.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 4 and verse 6, and it reads, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom.
So this is the Lord speaking unto Moses when he went forth to shew signs unto the Israelites to know that the Lord sent them. Read on.
And he put his hand into his bosom.
It said he put his hand into his bosom. Right, read on.
And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous.
It was what?
It was leprous.
It was leprous. Read on.
As snow.
As what?
As snow.
As snow. Right, so leprosy is white, man. Right, real quick, look up Michael Jackson, brother. Right, so we got to give you an example. We have to give you the visual. Right, it's not bumps. Right, Esau showed you damn bumps, man. He showed you bumps and mutilated hands. No, leprosy is white flesh. For example, Michael Jackson. He used to be dark, now he's kind of white. Do it before and after, brother. All right, go to that one right there, brother. Nah, that one, brother. Go down, brother. All right. So you got Michael Jackson. All right? You got Michael Jackson. So on the top far left, that's when he first started out. Right? He was kind of dark. Hey, the brother, he was bronze, man. Right? He was bronze, man. The Lord blessed him with that melanated skin. Right? And then you go into the top middle. He kind of did something with his nose. Right? Kind of got a nose job. Right? And then you go to the top right. And man, the Lord turned him into a leprous, man. Right? So Michael Jackson was plagued with leprosy. right? Because he had that song, "It Don't Matter If You Black or White," trying to unite all the nations together, right? And that's what, okay, the Lord said, okay, you want to bring all people together like it's the Tower of Babel? I'm going to plague you with leprosy and make you a damn so-called white man. Now get another one. Look up leprosy spots. Leprosy white spots. Got to be specific. White spots.
Okay.
Okay. All right, go to that one. So there you go. That's an example of leprosy. Right? You see that? So the brother, you know, he kind of started off dark, and then his hands kind of turned white. Right? That of a Dalmatian. You know? There's no folly. It's real. That's another one. Click on that one. So this is leprosy according to the scriptures. And that's why the Lord said leprous white as snow. Go back to the precept, brother. Exodus chapter 4, verse 6.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 4 and verse 6, and it reads, "And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thy hand into thy bosom."
Hey, put your hand into your bosom. Read on.
And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out,
And when he took it out, when he plucked out his hand, read on.
behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
It was what?
Leprous as snow.
It was leprous as snow. Right? So again, the pictures we just showed you, that's a good example of that, of your hands turning white as snow. And that was a sign, so like a sign that he was supposed to shoot forth to the Israelites to know that, look, I have the Lord as my power, and he's calling out for you Israelites to come back to him. Right? Read on.
Verse 7, and he said, Put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom.
And did what?
And plucked it out of his bosom.
Read on.
And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
Now, what was his other flesh? Right? Melanation, man. He was a melanated brother. Right? The Levites, they get dark, man. Real quick, give me Amos chapter 9, verse 1. Salakia, Exodus chapter 9, verse 1. Because Moses was a Levite, a so-called Haitian. Right? A lot of them Haitians can get mistaken from to Hamites, man. That's how dark they is. Okay? So Moses wasn't a white man. He didn't wear a suit and tie. Right? He wasn't chilling. Pharaoh was dark, man. The Egyptians was dark. Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 9 and verse 1. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews.
Of the what?
Of the Hebrews.
Say God of the Hebrews. Read on.
Let my people go.
Let the Israelites go. Read on.
That they may serve me.
That they may serve the Lord. Now give me Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. So Moses was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Levi. Bring it out.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi.
A man of the house of Levi. Read on.
And took to wife a daughter of Levi.
Took to wife a daughter of Levi. Read on.
And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child.
What does it mean to be a goodly child? Meaning he was a Hebrew Israelite. Right? The Edomites are badly childs. Right? The East Indians are stinky childs. Right? Hey, but the Israelites are goodly childs. Read on.
She hid him 3 months. Verse 3. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of the bulrushes.
Right, you can rest on that. And give me Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5. Just to prove that the men of the scriptures were dark men. Right? And stop reading the book of Enoch that tells you that Noah was a so-called white man. Right? That tells you that Noah had leprous skin and blue eyes. Those are recessive genes. Right? Bring it out, King.
Daniel 10 and 5, right? Yeah. It's the book of Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5.
Right.
Then I lift up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz.
Right, so Hamashiach Yahweh and also the angels. Right, he said his loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. So the Lord wore gold. Read on.
His body also was like the beryl, his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as a lamps of fire.
And when it says his face was as appearance of lightning, that doesn't mean he had a white face. Right? Meaning wisdom causeth your face to shine. right? When you read Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 1, and Psalms chapter 104 and 15. So wisdom caused the Lord's face to shine. That's why his face was as an appearance of lightning.
That's right.
Read on.
His eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet.
It says arms and his feet. Read on.
Like in color to polished brass.
Like in color to polished brass. Real quick, brother, look up brass. Because brass is brown. It's not white. It's not orange. It's not yellow. Right? It's brown. See that? That of a penny. But if you take a penny and you go to burn it in a furnace, it's going to become dark, dark, dark brown. So the Lord was dark brown, and likewise all the men of the scriptures. Now give me another one. Give me Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 10.
It's the book of Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 10.
Right?
Our skin was like, it's like our skin.
Read it again.
This is the book of Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 10. Our skin was black like an oven.
What the scriptures say?
Our skin was black like an oven.
What color is an oven? Inside of the oven, I never seen the inside of the oven white. I never seen the inside of the oven rainbow color. I never seen the inside of the oven blue. Right? Every oven that you have, inside of it is dark. Right? So the Lord said our skin was black like an oven. So the Israelites are dark-skinned people. Right? But we come in all different shades. You got light brown Israelites, and you got dark brown Israelites. Because the Lord said Israel is also likened unto a speckled bird. Okay, read on.
Because of the terrible famine.
Now give me Job chapter 30 and verse 30.
It's the book of Job chapter 30 and verse 30. And it reads, my skin is black upon me.
What the scriptures say?
My skin is black upon me.
Right, so Job was a so-called black man according to the scriptures. Right, he wasn't a leprous. He wasn't a white man. Isn't it a doctrine out there to say Job was a white man? That's madness, man. Right, because he just said my skin is black upon me. Right, so the point we're making is the men of the scriptures, they were dark men, Israelites.
That's right. You can go back to Leviticus. You got any precepts? Go back to Leviticus 13, where we left off. Verse 4.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 4. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that have the plague 7 days.
Right, so we keep seeing that recurrent term or words, 7 days, because that's completion.
Real quick, too. Right, so the priest is pretty much quarantining off this man.
That's right.
Right, quarantines are in the scriptures. Right, give me that real quick, and give me Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. And it's not to say you're locking this man up, you're putting him behind bars.
Right.
No, you're just separating him. Right.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in.
Look up several house real quick. Several house. Yeah, several house. Right. Read it again, King.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in.
Come on, keep reading.
Verse 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation. And the gate is smitten with destruction.
Right. Now also give me 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 19. Right, because Uzziah, he was also smitten with leprosy.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 13. And under their hand was an army.
2 Chronicles 26 and 19.
It's like it. Verse 19. Then Uzziah was wroth and had a censer in his hand to burn incense.
Right, so Uzziah, he was wroth. And he was heated. He was being irate within the temple. Read on.
And while he was wroth with the priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead.
What the scriptures say?
It's like it. The leprosy even rose up in his forehead.
Right, so you got to watch how you talking to the priest, man. The Lord can jack you up.
That's right.
Hey, the scriptures say reverence his priests, and it also say thou shalt not revile the gods. Let me get that real quick in the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 28. It reads thus. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Right, so you got to watch how you talking to the priests, the Levites, the government of the nation of Israel. Right, because the Lord can really jack you up and bring a plague upon you. Hence what he did to Uzziah. He sent leprosy upon his forehead. You got to picture all this, man. He irate, he mad, he cussing out the priest, and the Lord smitten him with leprosy in his forehead. Okay, read on.
Big nasty white spot.
The leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priests in the house of the Lord, from beside the incense altar. And Azariah, the chief priest, and all the priests looked upon him.
They kind of looked upon him, man. They probably was shocked, man. Their heart probably dropped within their stomach, right? Like, what the hell is going on? They looked upon him and did what?
And behold, he was leprous in his forehead.
He was leprous in his forehead. Like the brother Yardan said, a big nasty spot rose up within his forehead. Read on.
And they thrust him out from thence.
And they did what?
And they thrust him out from thence.
They kicked him out. Read on.
Yeah. Himself hasted also to go out.
Hey, he was even running, man. Probably was tripping over, right? Probably was hitting the door, right? Read on.
Yeah, himself hasted also to go out, because the Lord has smitten him.
What the Lord do?
Because the Lord have smitten him.
Hey, the Lord punched him, man, right through the spirit, man, because he smitten him with that leprosy. Read on.
And Uzziah the king was a leper until the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house.
In a what?
In a several house.
Hey, brother, real quick, look up several house. So the lepers, they was in several houses, man. They was quarantined off. They was cut off from the nation.
Segregated, separated. Yeah, you gotta go to web.
Yeah, you gotta go to definition, brother.
Yeah, that's another one.
You might want to go to it in the Hebrew. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Separated house, segregated place. So it say, again, separated house or segregated place. Meaning you was quarantined off. You couldn't dwell among the people because you had a disease.
Yeah, you were a monster in their eyes.
That's right. So that's what several house mean. Keep reading.
Being a leper, for he was cut off from the house of the Lord. And Jathan, his son, was over the king's house, judging the people of the land.
You see that? So his son had to become the king and kind of make the decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Because, hey, man, you can't have a leprous king, right? He kind of sitting on the throne with his leper skin. Hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. Right? His servants not going to want to come around him, man. They're not going to want to bow to him. Right? They're going to be kind of looking at, you got to obey this man.
Look at leprosy.
He got leprosy. Yeah, man.
Look at his forehead.
Right? So, again, this is a pretty much a skin disease. Right? You got it.
Go to Numbers 12 and 1.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 12, and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Right, if you don't know, Miriam is Moses' sister. Go ahead.
For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
Right.
And they said, have the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
And she going off right now. Right? She's not in the spirit. Satan jumped on her. Right? Moses, I only chose you, huh? Go ahead.
Have he not spoken also by us?
I'm pretty sure he spoke to Aaron and me. This is the spirit she moving in. She got that envious spirit, man. Right? And I was just about to say, that's that Eve spirit. Who made you the boss? Who made you the head nigga in charge? You can go ahead.
And the Lord heard it. Verse 3.
Hey, so the Most High is hearing everything. He didn't just wake out of his sleep and just so happen to hear it. He's hearing everything. Go ahead.
Now the man of Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
If you thought you saw a meek brother, hey, he's not more meek than Moses. All right, go ahead.
And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth.
It's not Nimbus. It's not that DBZ cloud, Goku ride on. This is, chariot, man. The Lord come in style, all right? And they in trouble. Not all of them, but two of them in trouble. All right, it's no difference than your father calling you, all the kids, you know you're in trouble. You know something up, But God damn. Go ahead.
Verse 6, and he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
Right.
My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the multitude of the Lord shall he behold.
See, now the Lord is dealing with Moses, not on a, in a dark parables type of on the level, but on a more personal friendship type of level. You understand? Similar to Abraham. He didn't have to speak to him the same way he spoke to Elijah and Ezekiel. Go ahead.
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous.
So he left, and boom, she got lepers all over her body. Go ahead.
White as snow.
See how I said white as snow? We already pulled up the pictures. Leprosy is when your skin changes the opposite color. Go ahead.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, at last, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us.
And and this is how meek Moses is. He could have said, yeah, this is your judgment. Don't speak up against the Lord. And he could have said a whole lot of stuff, but he kind of beseeching for the Lord. It's like he kind of beseeching to the Lord, ask him questions. Ask him, hey, Lord, forget about it. Go ahead.
Wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Right.
And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her now, O God.
And when we read this, we got to read with emotion, because you got to picture this. Moses like, heal her now, Lord. Not in a disrespectful way, but in a similar way that we cry out unto the Lord.
I was about to say, I was just going to make a point. I was going to go to scripture.
All right, let me finish this real quick. You got it.
I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father have put spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days?
Right, so this is equivalent to a father spitting in a daughter's face, man. Go ahead.
Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days.
7 days. There we keep reading it. 7 days. Go ahead.
And after that, let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days.
And she came back shutting her damn mouth, man. Go ahead.
And the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again.
So she kind of hindered the whole process. Yeah, we know as priests that's they had to kind of be in the wilderness for this amount of time. But, she kind of made it worse. She wasn't helping anything. And, her name kind of diminished after that somewhat. Oh, yeah, you the one that kind of held us up. Go ahead.
And afterward, the people removed from Hazareth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
7 days, a 7-day wait. I'd be mad. I'd be pissed off. Imagine you trying to go to the damn Bay Area. You got to wait 7 days because one person.
Right. And again, it say in verse 15, and Miriam was shut up from the camp 7 days. So again, she was quarantined off. And also in the 12th verse, it states, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Now, who does that sound like? Right? The so-called white man, right? Esau, when he came out of the womb. Give me that in Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. Right? He is as one dead when the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Mm-hmm. All right, bring it out, brother.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 25 and verse 23.
So you got a couple accounts, or several accounts rather, of people with leprosy in the scriptures. And it's never a good thing, right? It's not, okay, it's a happy thing. Okay, you're a leper. Okay, cool, man. We can kick it, right? They wasn't throwing a feast for the lepers, right? They wasn't turning up and partying with the lepers, Okay, bring it out, King.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in the womb of Rebekah, right? You got Jacob, and you also have Esau. Read on.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And we 2 different people, man. Right? We different from the so-called white man. They like to rock climb, right? They like to jog in the wintertime with shorts on, right? They like to eat raw flesh, right? What else Esau like to do, man?
Scrabble,
They skydive, rock climb, homosexuality,
Pop animals.
zoophilia, right? Bestiality, right? Pedestry, right? All kind of wickedness, man. Read on.
2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other
Right?
people.
It's a lot. We stronger than the so-called white man on the physical level, but also on the spiritual level, right? We're more dominant than the so-called white man because they have recessive genes. We have what you call dominant genes. Real quick, brother, look up dominant genes. Yeah.
Damn Rocky Balboa, man. Hey, Esau's full of crap. I don't want to see Rocky Balboa. I don't want to see no other so-called white man. We're going to lose it. I'm going to flip this table if I see it.
You go to, matter of fact, do dominant genes versus recessive genes. Because we got to go into it. They like to talk about science and biology and the study of man. Well, let's deal with it.
Yeah, click on images. Yeah, people, folks. Esau, you know what we want.
Well, you know they ain't going to do it. All right, let's just go to the eye thing, man.
Oh, no, there it go. That's actually it.
With the eye thing?
Yeah,
All right, go to
because
the
I
eye
had to learn that in damn chemistry class.
All right, so let's deal with it. Hey, so you got dominant, brown, eye,
Right,
and Salaki, it say the blue is recessive. Blue, eye. Brown eyes
allele.
are the dominant genes, and blue eyes are the recessive genes.
See that?
You see that? So go to that picture. You got the Edomites right there. Yeah. Can't really check it out. Yeah, this was folly. Right, so that's, you don't got to go to that.
Yeah, that's folly.
Right, so look, the point is, man, dominant gene. We have dominant genes, man. Right, the dark skin, a broad noses, a wide lips. Right, these are dominant genes that the Israelites possess. But what's those recessive genes? Esau, damn, they don't got no lips, man. They look like damn rats, man. They got the blue eyes, they got the blonde hair, right? They got the damn pointy nose. Yeah, they look like gorillas, man.
Chimps, man. Chimpanzees.
Yeah, they look like, yeah.
I got a precept too going into Esau. Right, get Leviticus 13. Go to Leviticus 13 and start at 12. Because basically we just read a form of leprosy in the skin is when the skin is white. And then when you continue to read on in the chapter, it explains different examples. And they all leads back to white hair or white skin. Like even when it's healed, like that, you will have a boil, and then from that boil, your skin will turn white. We go read that in a second. But bring this out real quick.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 12.
Right?
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin,
Right.
and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that have the plague.
Right? The leprosy cover all his skin. Right? Like an albino or Esau being the first leper that came out all leper. Right, read?
From his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh.
Right, read?
Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that have the plague.
Right.
It is all turned white. He is clean.
Right, so that's what you could call a clean leper. Esau will be a clean leper. That's why he's not shut up in the several house. That's why an albino isn't shut up in the several house. Right, they're completely leper. So they're a clean leper.
Okay, real quick, go back to that Genesis 25. Right, so again, Esau is a clean leper, man. Right, but he's still dirty in our eyes, man. Right, and he's still going to slavery. Right, and we're still going to put them to death, man, and enslave their children. Right, and put to death their woman. And we're going to do all manner of valiantness upon Esau, as it states in Numbers chapter 24 and verse 17, right? But according to thus saith the Lord, he is considered a clean leper, but he is a leper nonetheless. All right, go to Genesis 25 and 23 again.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Right, Esau and Jacob, the Israelites and the Edomites. Read on.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
We are different kind of people. Read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Right, the Israelites are stronger than the Edomites. Read on.
And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right.
And the first came out red.
And the first came out red. Right, so Esau came out red, man. Right, we were so-called fraternal twins. Right, we're not identical. Right?
That too.
Okay, read on.
All over like a hairy garment.
Right, he came out red all over like a hairy garment. Why did he come out red all over like a hairy garment? Because he lacks melanin and pigmentation, and his blood shoots forth from his skin. Read on.
They called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau in the Edomites. Esau means wasted away. Read on.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Now, why didn't they describe Jacob? Right, because Jacob came out normal. He came out with that dark, melanated skin. Right, give me Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Right, all men of the earth, or all nations of the earth, rather, get dark. Right, even the so-called Chinese man get dark, man. Right, I done seen dark-skinned Moabites, man. It kind of tripped me out. I never seen nothing like that before, man.
It's like here in the Babylon, they, you know, they fairer skin, but if you go over there, yeah, they darker, man. That's kind of rare out here.
Yeah, Cambodia. Right, go to Cambodia. Go to Vietnam. You're going to see dark-skinned Moabites. Right, read on.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
So all men were created out of the dust of the earth. What color is the dust of the ground? It's dark. Real quick, look up dark-skinned Asian.
See that? Dark, man.
Vietnam. They put Vietnam in
If you just type in dark-skinned Chinese, they'll pop up. All you gotta do is type in dark-skinned Chinese. It'll pop, or Asian. It'll pop right up. Bunch of them.
Oh, you gotta go up. Hey, go to that one right there in the cut, in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
This is a dark-skinned Moabite, man.
They be trying to hide it.
Right, so you got dark-skinned gooks in this thing.
These ancient pictures I'm looking at, I don't know how they. Right.
Hey, some gooks kind of got the kinky hair as well, man.
Yeah, Esau don't want nobody to know that, man.
But see, Esau try to hide this knowledge from man, right? Especially from you Americans, you Babylonians. He don't want y'all to know anything about the people of the earth. That's a dark-skinned Moabite. Look at that. See that?
See that?
Hey, Angela Yee, she's a Moabite, man. Angela Yee. Yeah.
Yeah, folks, yeah.
Ugh. You look nasty.
All right,
All
all
right,
right.
go back to Genesis 25 and 25 again.
Ugly eater, man.
Right?
Yeah, Moabite.
So these are Moabites, and they get dark. Also, the East Indians, man. We see a lot of dark East Indians.
All dark. They all
Yeah.
dark. Sure.
Yeah. They a different kind. They got they dusty dark, man. Right? They're not like our kind of dark. They got that dusty, ashy dark. Right? That burnt rubber dark. Right? Also ham and cheese, man. They get dark, but they a different kind of dark, man. We ain't even gonna talk about ham. But bring it out, man.
Genesis 25 and 25. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
And give me another one. Give me Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. Matter of fact, Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 4. And it reads, And there went out another horse that was red.
And who was that horse that was red? Brothers know? So-called white man. He's that horse that's red, right? Because he has that power just as a horse, but he's a red man. Read on.
And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Right, so the so-called white man can't bring about world peace because he was given to take peace from the earth. That's why he was set up. Read on.
And that they should kill one another.
That they shall do what?
And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal.
So Salakia say there was given unto him a great sword. And who was blessed with the sword in the scriptures? The so-called white man. That's in Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40 on down. Right, so again, he's that horse that was red because he lacks melanin and pigmentation. All right, that's it.
Go to Leviticus 13 and 18. I want to make a point. Going into what Esau called leprosy. This is nailing the point that it's not boils or anything. It's literally white skin. Literally. That's actually what it is. Boils are something different. All right, bring that up.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 18.
Right?
The flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil, and is healed.
Right, so a person had a boil and the boil healed. Right, so the boil isn't the leprosy because it's saying this is after the boil heals. Right?
Verse 19. And in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white and somewhat reddish, and it be shewed to the priest.
Right, somewhat reddish, right, read?
And if, when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in the sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy, broken out of the boil.
Right, so it's broken out of the boil. You see that? Keep reading.
Verse 21. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
Right, read on.
Verse 22. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague.
Read.
But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean.
You see that? So it's just a regular boil. So that's actually clean. So when you look up leprosy and you see boils, Esau going the hell off. Right? Because that's not unclean. It's when it spreads and it turns white. Right? Maybe like that. But if it spreads, then that'll make it unclean. But if it doesn't spread, then it's clean. Right? And that's pretty much the first leprosy. You know, just when you read it, you know, for sake of time, we can't read the whole chapter, but, you know, it's basically going into them being cleaned. You know, they get put apart 7 days and they double check and stuff like that. When you read Leviticus 13 on down to 28.
I got another one on that. Give me 2 Kings chapter 15 and verse 25. Another account of a man being turned to a leper in the scriptures. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 25.
It's the book of 2 Kings chapter 5 and verse 25. And it reads, But when he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou? Gehazi.
Right, Gehazi. Right, who was the servant of Elisha. Right, read on.
And Gehazi, and he said, Thy servant went no whither. And he said unto him, Went now my heart.
Went not my heart.
Went not mine heart with thee.
Hey, so Elisha said, look, my heart ain't go with you. Wherever you just went, and I know where you just went because I can perceive through the spirit where you went. He said, I didn't go with you in that journey. My heart wasn't with you. Right? You tried to do your own thing. You went on your own accord. Read on.
When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yard and vineyard and sheep and oxen?
Right, because he was accepting gifts from Naaman. Right? And I believe Elisha kind of turned down the gifts. And Gehazi got excited. Nah, I ain't turning down these gifts. I'm about to go get these gifts, man. Right, I'm about to go get this money, man. Read on.
And manservant and maidservant, the leprosy thereof of Naaman
Naaman. Right?
Naaman shall cleave unto thee.
Shall do what?
Shall cleave unto
He
thee.
said, look, the leprosy that Naaman got, you going to have. Read on.
And unto thy seed forever.
And unto your children forever. Read on.
And he went out from his presence a leper.
And he went out from the presence a leper. Read on.
As white as snow.
As what?
As white as snow.
Right? So the Lord said, hey, not only is it going to cleave to you, but it's also going to cleave to your children. Right? So he made it in your damn genetics, man. Right? So all the children that you have, they're going to become lepers. And the children that they have are going to be lepers. And the children that they have are going to be lepers. That's a bad lot.
Damn.
Right? Now give me Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15. And that's another lesson to you Israelites from accepting gifts, right, out of wickedness. And it's okay to send portions to your brother, but you don't want to be accepting gifts out of wickedness to turn your heart away from the Lord, right? You're sitting up there accepting money. Now this money is polluting you. Donations, right, super chat donations, right? Next thing you know, you out the truth, man. Next thing you know, you driving around in the Benz, right, and you hate your brother, and you want to kill the next man. Right? The Lord could put those spirits on you, man, if you let that money pollute your soul. Bring it out, brother.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth.
No, Salakia. Deuteronomy 16 and 19.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 19. Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons. Neither take a gift.
Neither do what?
Neither take a gift.
Neither take a gift. Read on.
For a gift doeth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live, and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right, so you got to do things just, right, and good in the sight of the Lord. Not accepting gifts to pervert judgment, right, to be a glutton, right, to be greedy of gain, as the scriptures say. And that's what Gehazi was doing. That's why the Lord made that leprosy cleave to him. And again, it states that leprosy was white as snow. Right, so leprosy is white.
God, so we go on to the next form of leprosy, which is leprosy of the hair or your beard. So that's Leviticus 13 and 29. And what we gonna find out is that Esau just was created a full leper, right? Because it's going to explain what leprosy of the beard is and hair. Bring it up.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 29. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in the sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair.
A what?
A yellow thin hair.
Now, what's yellow thin hair? Right, it's blonde hair, man.
Con.
Right, when you have blonde hair.
Look it up.
We all know what
Right.
blonde look. Jake.
Like
Better
blonde
Google
hair.
blonde hair is.
Google Kill Bill, Uma Thurman. It's that blonde hair.
That's leprosy.
You the only one I could think of that really got it like that. That's that blonde hair.
That's leprosy, man. Right?
Crazy eyes. Look like a lizard. Oh yeah, Britney Spears. I think she got it.
Right?
I know.
You see that? Finished, man.
So you got yellow thin hair, man.
So the-
Doggy, stringy hair.
Tripping. To my Hulk Hogan. Yeah, you got the yellow beard, man. Check that out. Click that.
And Hulk, and Salakia, Hulk Hogan, he's a devil, man. He kind of got exposed making racist comments, man. Yeah.
Yellow thin hair of the beard, man. Looking finished, man.
Zoom in on his beard. His mustache.
Finished, man.
There you go, man. You got yellow thin hair.
All right.
You that yellow thin hair.
All right.
Right?
See that? So go ahead. Read that.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in the sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scab, even a leprous upon the head or beard.
Right, so that's leprosy. You got leprosy of the hair and beard. You got leprosy of the skin, right? Keep reading.
And if the priest look on the plague of the scab, and behold, it be not in the sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up. So like it shut up him that have the plague of the scab 7 days.
Right, so they basically shut them up so they can further examine. Right, read.
Verse 32. And in the 17th day, so like a 7th day, the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the scab spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the scab be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven. But the scab shall he not shave, and the priest shall shut up him that have the scab 7 days more.
Right, they'll shut them up 7 days more. Right, this is plain. This is explaining the process. Right, read.
It's like, yeah. And in the 7th day, the priest shall look on the scab, and behold, if the scab be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean.
Right, so that's how they dealt with the leprosy of the hair. Right, so you can jump to the third leprosy, which is the leprosy of the garment. Right, go to verse 47.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse, you said 42?
No, 47.
47. And it reads, the garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof of linen or of woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin.
Right, read.
And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything of the skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be shewed unto the priest.
Now, what is it talking about is reddish or greenish in the garment? Right, this is talking about mold in your clothes. Right, this is literally what it's talking about. Google that real quick. See if we can find a picture. Right, mold is green as hell, man. Right? And that can happen when your clothes get wet, you leave it out, whatever the case may be. But a garment can get molded. Right? See, that's green.
And real quick, it also creates a smell as well, man.
And it's
Right.
toxic.
It's you know, after you wash your clothes, of course, you gotta either dry it or hang it up. You can't just leave wet clothes in the bag. It's gonna get moldy and it's gonna create a smell. Then you gotta throw out all your clothes.
See that?
Yeah, mildew. That's what mold. That's pretty much what it is. It's mildew.
Right, look up mildew in clothes. Mold and mildew in your clothes, man.
Yeah, man, because your clothes come from the earth, man. Fabrics, you know, different textures. It all comes from the earth. So it's subject to being molded as well.
Well, I actually had seen when you first typed in mold on clothes, it was one of the ones, it was green. It's damn coat turned green. I mean, it's pretty showing you, though.
Yeah, it's showing you. That's what it is. Everything we just seen, that's what it is.
Yeah. This is all just different leprosy in the clothes. And people don't know about that, man.
Hey, that happened to me when I was younger. You know, our basement got flooded, and a lot of the clothes that we didn't know was closed down there, we ended up finding out about it because of the smell and the odor. It was foul. It was stinky. We saw all those different types of colors, green, blue, red. It was filthy.
Yeah,
It's foul.
Yeah, this kind of stuff happens throughout life, man. Molded clothes, right? And again, it's usually when your basement flood, your clothes get wet, and you kind of don't know about it. You forget about it. 5 months later, it's got damn mildew on it, man. So these kind of things happen throughout life. So I'm just say this, man. The laws of the Lord are perfect, man.
Kind.
That's right.
It goes into everything under the sun.
Yeah, people, you know, you got to be in that law. You don't even know that, man. It's in the Bible, man. I tell you about mold. Like, they got the reddish mold in that thing, right?
I got precept. Go to James 5 and 2. Did you have one?
I got a precept.
James chapter 5, verse 2.
It's the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 2. Your riches are corrupted, and your garment are moth-eaten. Moth-eaten.
Is moth eaten? Do moths just eat any type of garments? No. They eat a particular type of garment. Because moths, they like that damp, watery type of environment, right? That's where they thrive. You trying to Google that? Do moths eat mold? Moldy clothes. Do moths eat moldy clothes? Yeah, I go to all for this one. So why do larvae eat our clothes? Fungi occur especially in moist areas, and clothes moths seem to do particularly well in unwashed clothes that hold some moisture and might have some fungal growth, moldy bits. So Esau, he's an unclean man in his skin, in his beard, in his spirit, and in his clothes. So he's leprosy all around, 100%. That's why the moths are eating his clothes.
See that?
Damn, a precept on that. See, that's a good precept right there. The Lord said your garments are moth eaten. Right? That's going into the rich man. You have so much clothes, you have so much wealth, you kind of forget about all the clothes you have.
Right.
You have clothes for hundreds and centuries, man. Of course it's going to get moth eaten. Of course it's going to kind of deteriorate. Of course some water kind of going to get up in there one day, and it's going to become moth eaten. Right? So that's the rich man. He has so much that heart could wish. He has an abundance of wealth. Now give me Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5.
Deuteronomy what?
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 5, and it reads, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Right, so all these laws, statutes, and commandments was for our benefit, right? To know how to operate as a nation of people and to know how to deal with certain situations when we get in our holy land, right? Because you're going to run across these kind of situations when you're dwelling in your holy land among your nation.
Yeah.
These kind of things happen, right? Read on.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
Right, so these laws, statutes, and commandments is our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in the sight of all the heathen nations. Read on.
Which shall hear all these statutes.
And they're going to hear these statutes. They're going to hear these judgments. Right, you got Bible scholars that read these things and know these things. And they say what?
And say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
They say, man, wow, these ancient Israelites, they were a wise and understanding people. That's why the white man wants to be an Israelite. That's why he wants to be a Jew, because he read these laws and say, look, I want to be these people. Yeah. Right? Look at these laws that they have. I had never thought of that.
Right.
Right? Read on.
Verse 7, for what nation is there so great? Who have God so nigh unto them?
Right, so the Lord is, you know, the Lord made these laws, man. Man doesn't think about these things.
Nah.
This is not on man level of intelligence. Right, so these are laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord created. And again, it's not just 10 commandments, right? Because Moses was on the mount for 40 days and 40 nights, right? And the Lord literally wrote the commandments when you read Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 10. So the Lord wrote out all these things for our understanding. Read on.
As the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law?
So righteous as all this law. Right? You never seen laws just like this, man. Right? The laws of America can't touch the laws of the Lord.
That's right.
Right? The laws of the land can't match up to the laws of Yahweh. Right? The so-called international laws, they're not touching the laws of the Lord, man. Break it out.
Which I set before you this day. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons.
Hey, you got to teach this to your sons and your sons' sons. Right? You got to teach your daughter about these things. Right? The 4 types of leprosy, mold, all these different things, boils. You got to break it down to them, man. This is the perfect education that your children need in this thing.
That's right.
This is the perfect education that we all need. The so-called white man did not tell us about this in the school system, man. He didn't teach us about mold, the 4 types of leprosy, things that we truly need to know, man. Right? And this is for the health of man. Because you don't want to dwell in a house that has mold all over it. You can get sick, man. Right?
I'll tell you that.
Look that up, man. Mold.
And when you Google it, because I already know it's going to be here, how to get mold out of your clothes, that's what Esau teach you to do.
That's awful.
Get it out. You're not supposed to get it out.
You gotta, come on.
See?
Don't bring that out, what you're supposed to do.
And you can go. There are 8 easy ways to get mold out of clothes. Why are you trying to do all of that?
Real quick. Look up mold sickness. Because you can get sick.
Saki, like you said, he commanded all these things for our good, man. It's not just no reason the Lord is saying
Hey,
these
that's
things.
how you get fungal infections, man. I seen that on the old doctor show.
Chronic. All right, let me read this real quick. Salakia. As noted, CIRS is chronic inflammatory response syndrome, also known as mold illness. This is an illness that often occurs after significant exposure to a water-damaged building. Significant exposure may mean different things to different people. For some, a short exposure can do a lot of damage. So you got to get that mold out your house, man. If you got mold in your house, brother, you need to fix that, man. Right? Something got to get. Right? You got, brother, then I got a precept after you.
Yep.
Yep. Give me Deuteronomy 28. Because the Lord said he would smite us with the inflammation. What's that, 28 and 22? Bring that out, Deuteronomy 28 and 22.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation.
With an inflammation, right? So these are the curses that came upon the Israelites, right? The Lord brung mold in our damn house. The Lord damn molded our clothes, right? The Lord brung sicknesses about Israel. And guess what? Now we dropping dead like flies. Okay, read on.
And with an extreme burning, and with the sword.
With an extreme burning and with the sword. Read on.
And with blasting.
And with blasting. Read on.
And with mildew.
And with what?
And with mildew.
And with mildew. Right, so the Lord brung mildew about our nation. The Lord plagued our crops. The Lord plagued our clothing. Now we got to go to our enemies for everything. That's right. Read on.
And they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
See that? So these things pursue the Israelites until we perish. Right? You got certain Israelites that grow up in the projects with mildew, man. Right? You got mildew, you got rats, you got roaches. It always stink in your house. People smoking cigarettes in the level above you, and it's kind of seeping down into your house and dripping over your walls. Right? These are the conditions that we grow up in, man.
That's
Why?
right.
Because these are due to the curses.
Quick point, and this segues to the next topic, or not next topic, but next leprosy. In April 1999, Dr. David Strauss, one of the nation's leading mold experts, ordered the Ballards to evacuate their house. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Now, this is 1999. It's 2021, 2022. They're not going to tell you to do that anymore. They'll tell you a DIY on how to get it out yourself. They're not going to tell you to leave, all right? You're going to see TikToks, how to clean mold up from your shoes, how to clean mold out